Hello.
Hi.
So today I thought I'd introduce something that you'd spoke about before, and I know that because of the eating disorder, the big thing was around food, and you had mentioned at the beginning of our videos that when you were hospitalised, you'd eat food that you didn't even like,
Mm.
and the purpose was that you felt that you had to be compliant, so you'd eat food that you didn't like. So I just wanted to ask the question of not just your relationship with food, but the types of food that you ate growing up,
Mhm.
and which foods did you like, which foods did you not
Mm.
like, before your experience in hospital as
Yeah.
well about food. So
Yeah.
what was that like?
Um, I could have. What I think I've always said the eating disorder started when I was 19, and that's when I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. But when I look back before then, I'd say I didn't have a problem with food. But when I look back now, I had a funny relationship with food. It wasn't in a harmful way that it was hurting me physically
Mm.
or mentally. It was just a very um, familiar relationship. Looking back now, when I think about in my teens at school, at high school, I had the same packed lunch every day.
Right. So what was it? What
It was
food was it?
it was a ham and beetroot sandwich in white bread, a packet of prawn cocktail, Chris Seabrook, and a one finger Twix. And I had that every day for like 5 years. And I even had it like in the school holidays and everything like that.
Why did you have that every day?
I don't know, because like I said, when I look back, the kinds of food that I eat were very, very restrictive. Sticking first time we went abroad when I was 11, we went for 2 weeks to Ibiza. I had chicken and chips at the same restaurant every night for 14 days. I didn't have anything different. There was a bit of, I don't know if that's when they like routines and ritual behavior and wanting the same thing
So it was like,
happened.
so the same thing that spread out to, when you mentioned watching certain films,
Yeah,
that children repeat watching films because it's a part of
yeah.
safety and knowing,
The
you
six
know,
week
there's
holidays, I
no,
watched the same films every morning.
yeah, so there's no shocks coming,
Yeah,
you know what's coming. And so for you, that ritual spread into the types of food that you would
yeah,
eat as well. And
yeah.
so was that the same, was that the same for the family? Did the family often eat the same foods as well?
No, we all had different meals.
Right.
Um, and
Did they eat repetitive, the same
yeah,
meals that
my,
they?
my my dad would eat anything, but my mum was very limited in what she ate. So she cooked. So like when we went on holiday, my dad were having all sorts like that for the menu, like we had fishes and this, that, and other. But he'd never have it at home. It were always like a meat and a vegetable or a pie and this or chips and whatever. It was all very plain food. I didn't have my first pizza till I was about 19 and I went away to university. It was all very plain, sort of British meat and a veg or chips and this or something like that. And so it never were a problem, because I just had what I had, and it were always there. I had a bowl of cornflakes at 7:30 every night, and it was very ritualistic, although I wasn't aware of it at the time and it wasn't
Right.
an
Okay.
issue.
So the family had these rituals
Yeah.
that
And
they.
I don't know if I got it from my mum, but my dad would try anything. My mum wouldn't try anything.
Right.
If you
Okay.
go, oh, have a mouthful of that, it's no. My mum still hadn't had cheese. She's like, no, I don't want to try cheese. I don't like it. It doesn't look right. It don't. And this, that, and other. It's very, although it wasn't a problem, it was, looking back, it would a bit, oh, yeah, there are difficulties.
I think as well, what you'd just done as well is that the expression that your mum had, so you hold that expression still,
Mm,
and so you mimic the expression. So I know that your mum goes like this because you
yeah.
just did it, and like this aversion to cheese. We can tend to do that. Say if somebody's, quite often if somebody goes, oh, I don't like spiders, it's like,
Mm,
who taught you that?
yeah.
Who do you know that does that?
Yeah,
like,
wouldn't try anything new or out like that.
Yeah, so we can have these learnt behaviours that we, you know, ultimately we spend our lives mimicking people from our past. So, you know, so it's that way you've kind of, you've got that. And then, so as you've gotten older, are the rituals staying, or have you recognised that you've actually changed them?
The rituals sort of like stay, but then morph without me knowing and become a new ritual. Um, like when I was at home and growing up with when my mum was like doing the meals and stuff, my needs were always accommodated. So she'd cook my tea for my dad, and her would have different. I never ate with them. I ate in the lounge because I couldn't bear to be around people who were eating. So I had my tea, which was different to what they had, on the lounge. But it wasn't a big problem. We all had different meals and stuff. So that was the norm. And
when you're saying it wasn't a big problem, what to you would it have been if it was a big problem? Because you identify it not being a big problem, but actually, at some point you started eating in the lounge because you couldn't stand the sound of the meeting.
Yeah.
And why couldn't you stand the sound of the meeting?
I didn't know at the time. All I knew was that I got really aggressive with them, because when I was having, like, when I was forced to sit at the dinner table with them and stuff, I would be like shouting and really angry that they were making too much noise, and it were irritating me and it were winding me up and stuff. So it was just easier for a quiet life just to always have my tea, and I'd just take it and have it in the lounge watching the television, so that I don't know if I were distracted from eating as well, but I didn't have the noise and seeing people, and I didn't know why. I just knew it got me angry.
Do you know why now?
Because it's sort of, and I know there's noises around people eating and drinking and breathing, which I don't like, which take me back to when I were abused prior to that. But at the time, I was just told I was a naughty, angry child, and just it's quieter just to go sit and have your tea in front of telly. It were a quieter life sort of thing.
So it became about, you know, as we spoke about, you know, trauma informed. As we spoke about that, it's like one of those where your body was informing, or your expression was informing there's a problem now, and it's like, well, it becomes about the person.
Yeah,
so that's
it didn't got to my conscious why. I found like my dad, when he made noise drinking tea, and I did, and I'm ashamed to say it, that I'd go over and kick him or punch him.
But why are you ashamed of that?
Because that's not nice.
But you were a child.
I know, but it's not nice, is it?
Well, it's a thing that you did because you were expressing what you were feeling. The only way you could let the anger out for what you were feeling is in that way. So what's the point of feeling ashamed over something rather than understanding it? You see, once you understand something, there's no point in doing that again to yourself and saying, well, I feel this kind of way, because in hindsight, if I'd have known, but I was a child.
I didn't know. I just thought, because I didn't know, like, in my mind why I was doing this, it'd just be a snap second and I'd like punch my dad, or you're making too much noise, or something.
You had all this
I
energy.
thought it was just me, because I couldn't give an explanation to it. The only explanation I could as a child was, it's you, and that I was getting that back from my mum. You're naughty, you know, why are you like that to your dad, and and all like that kind of thing. So that's that became my internal thoughts about myself.
Are you in it now then? Are you in that now? Because you've kind of gone into that.
I feel a bit.
You feel yourself in
that?
Yeah,
I feel a bit.
So you've gone into that, and that recognition within yourself that actually I was moved over, or I went over and sat in front of the TV, and then would that calm you down then? You'd be distracted from that? So you'd be distracted. So you could see that actually there was a thing around food, because that became a thing around food as well, didn't it? So your diet eventually then extended, I guess, because you started then eating McDonald's and things
Yeah.
like that.
When I went to
And so,
university, um,
so that was that okay for you to expand your diet? Did you decide to do that?
it expanded, but then went very restrictive.
Okay.
It expanded in that I tried the odd different thing, but that was a way of, when I went to university, the reason why I went away and moved, because I thought all my troubles that I had would go away. I could be a new person. I could be a nice person if I went. So I went 2 hours away and lived there. And it was like, I've gone here. So I can forget all my troubles. I can forget all how scared I am of people, how useless I am. I'm just going to be a new person when I get there. And I tried, and I think the food came in. It was when I tried, because I obviously kept myself to myself, as the other videos show, and being very isolated up until my late teens and not socialized. I tried to think, right, I'm a new person, I'm different. Yeah, because we lived in residences. Yeah, if you're getting pizza in, I'll have some. And it happened a few times, but it was so overwhelming that it, because of the social aspects, it became not a pleasant.
So what was it? Was it overwhelming to eat the pizza? Is that what you're saying? Or
Being around other people.
So sorry, we're going. I've
Yeah.
gone off track a bit.
Yeah. So being around other people, but
was overwhelming. But
yeah.
What was it like to eat a different pizza?
I found that it was easier because it was convenience, and I didn't have to spend time cooking over food, thinking about food or anything. It was just there when I needed it.
Right.
And because there were other things going on at that time, I didn't become a new person, and I started studying and all those things. I spent the majority of my time studying. So when I did eat, it was just grabbing something that was a fast
quick.
food.
So then
it was a burger, or I'd just eat a Mars bar just for the day.
Transition to fast food then.
Yeah, because it fitted in with the, I haven't got time to spend faffing around shopping. I didn't go food shopping or anything like that. It was just, and I need food. There's food there. I'll eat it. Convenience wise.
Can you remember how after you'd eaten the food, what did it feel? What did you recognize how that was making your body feel then to change your diet and to go on to the fast food? Can you recognize, because food impacts your mood? So did you notice any changes at that point, or were you too occupied?
I think at that time I was too occupied with studying and all my difficulties. That's when the depression started. So it could be adding to it. It could have added to it.
Yeah, for sure. But you didn't recognize.
But I didn't recognize, because I got to a point where I didn't even know what day it was. I didn't, having blackouts and in an exam, and couldn't remember what my name was and that kind of thing. So my mood and my mental health went really down.
Right. So then when you then kind of more in the present day, you changed your diet, and that was new. So you changed the diet to the API diet, and what impact was that on you then in comparison to this food? Because before that, as we're aware, that you continued the McDonald's theme, and then then you changed the food. So what impact physically did that have on you?
Just thinking about it, there's been lots of changes, because when I came home from then university, that's when the anorexia nervosa kicked in, and I didn't have any fast food for a few years. I wouldn't have anything unless it was a lettuce or fruit.
Yes.
I wouldn't even touch something because I thought it was going to absorb through my skin and calories and stuff. And then, as the treatment for anorexia was just to eat any food you can from the hospital, that's when I got back into fast food. and processed
Wow.
food.
So you went to, looking and eating lettuce and things like that, and then a treatment was given to you that, when I said, some of the videos, you might as well weigh bricks because you're at a healthy weight,
Mm.
but it doesn't mean you're healthy. So
Mm.
it's just a made up thing. You might as well just weigh rocks or bricks or things
Mm.
like that. So in your case, it was a case of, just put it in, even if it's garbage that you're putting into your body, as long as you hit the scales.
Yeah, I was
Right.
I was 4 stone when I went in hospital that time, the last time, and it was a thing. You don't get discharged till you're at the weight that they gave you, which they classed as a healthy weight, and you had to eat what they gave you. But it was all processed, high fat, high calorie food. They and to be
Plus
fair,
all the chemicals that
yeah,
you're eating as well.
highly processed.
Yeah. So
Mass produce things. Obviously, St James's is a very big hospital. They have to mass produce things,
yeah.
and it was even getting used to eating things that you didn't like. You had to, because you had to comply, and you had to do as you're told, because if you didn't eat what they gave you, your phone call would be taken off you and you couldn't ring home.
So it was as we said before, like you're in this prison, and this is the treatment you're going to get.
Yeah.
So you spoke about that feeling of being used, that you're just there to comply to somebody else,
Yeah.
that medical model, you don't fit into it. And to fit into it, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And that realization of it was, what they did wasn't to help you. It might have been that intent, but it didn't help you.
No. What the refeeding program did, yes, it made me put on weight, but it made me learn about, or get into the habit, or learn the behavior of, you eat food, I was told, once you eat, get your weight up, everything will be all right, you'll feel better. So food became like a medicine, just have it and it'll make you feel better.
But that wasn't a medicine, was it?
No.
It's, food is the medicine.
Yeah.
But that wasn't.
No, because you had to eat stuff that you didn't like. I can remember sitting there crying over stuff, and it was like, eat it, or you don't get your phone call. Eat it.
So you got
threatened.
Eat it.
Yeah, or if you didn't comply regularly, or if you'd be threatened with discharge. Like, there's a lot of people that want this bed. There's a lot of people with eating disorders who, want this bed.
Would you want that bed now?
No.
Would you ever go back to that bed?
No.
Okay.
I ended up being a healthy weight, being discharged, still with the voice in my head about food, still preoccupied with weight, calories and food, but I'd learnt that shut everything up by eating, eat food you don't like, just eat when you're full, eat stuff that's not very nice, eat when you're not hungry.
It's got chemicals in that's detrimental to your body as well.
Yeah.
So again, you don't care. You don't matter.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like
and
that.
And I just did as I was told. I didn't question it, and never through any of my treatment or anything have I questioned everything, which they found very bizarre, but I was just compliant and did that. And then when I was discharged at healthy weight, it was like, oh, you're better now, you're discharged. But no, I've still got an eating disorder. I'd gone in with anorexia nervosa. I'd been discharged, cured of anorexia nervosa, but got atypical anorexia nervosa and binge eating disorder, because I'd learned a new way of managing feelings and stuff by food. So,
but you didn't manage them, did you?
No.
Just
to hide
suppressed.
them, or suppress them, hide them, distract from them, or any way apart from addressing them. And so then, for a good, till I met you, so a good lot of years, I just lived on ready meals, the same ready meal on a rotator.
Right.
Ate nothing through the day, a ready meal and some vegetables at night, and I had about 3 ready meals that I rotated, and that was my life until I started talking about the foods that I ate with you and stuff like that.
And that realization that some of the foods, like the burgers and the ice cream and things like that, were what a child had picked.
Yeah. My normal day was always, don't eat anything till tea time, eat the ready meal and vegetables, and then you could have fruit in the evening. But then when I had a binge, the binges were like chocolate bars, ice creams, bread, butter, biscuits. It were all those. And one of the things that I'm mindful when you said, it's like, even when I think what chocolate bars there were like curly whirlies and stuff. The kids stuff,
in a childhood,
and the ice creams, all the different flavors, and it wasn't like the posh ice cream what they have now. It was just all the like.
What's posh ice cream?
No, but you know how they do all them posh flavors now, and all different.
Not posh.
No, but you know what I mean.
They're all chemicals.
Yeah, but it were like, it was childlike sweets.
They just ultimately label something, and they're told, you can put a label on people. So if somebody put a label on luxury, like, oh, look at that, and then they'll just can put a price on the label.
Yeah.
But is it really? It's all chemicals.
I'm really good at marketing. I just get sold anything. I could buy anything. Me.
I mean, that's what we do. We pay to be filled with chemicals, don't we? And we pay for that.
Yeah. And told that it's like,
and told that it's a luxury.
These
are luxury chemicals.
That's what I've been bought into.
It's a treat. It's a new special planet. Yeah. That only makes luxury, and they get delivered here because ultimately it's going to come from the same place.
Because over time, food's been used for me as a treat. Because of the eating disorder and anorexia. I've earned it. I can eat something. I've had a treat. So it's been a reward. But then from hospital, I've learned that a good way of hurting me is to eat, because with having the eating disorder, what's the worst thing somebody can do is eat. So my self-punishment, my self-loathing, my way of distracting from what's going on in my head is to eat and binge, so that I'm worrying about that rather than being able to focus on the other bits, than the serious bits, what I should be focusing on.
And I guess the other that you're saying is called brain mapping. So we have a pleasure pain brain mapping. So what happens is they can get connected together. So the reason why they're connected together is because when you have pain growing up, you seek out pleasure, because we're pleasure seekers, so we seek out pleasure, and then those can get knitted together. So you find that, and I might have said it before, you find out that I think they call it the millionaire's weekend. So everybody goes out once a month when they get paid, and they've had an hard month. So we've all had this pit of pain. We've had to work, and now we're going to all have pleasure. Actually, it's not. It's pleasure poison, because now you're going to poison your body. And then we name it, a normal name is a hangover for actually poisoning yourself. So the things that actually we deem as pleasurable, we're going to have a Friday night, we're going to have a treat tonight. It's actually we're going to have chemicals tonight. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because it tastes good. You see what I mean? So we're not really bothered, because it's called, like I said before, it's willful ignorance or willful blindness, that we're just going to put these toxins and these things into our bodies. It doesn't matter, because we can just take a pill and shut it off. Yeah. So when the fireman comes out, we'll just switch the alarm off. That's what we're going to do, and then we can continue to do this cycle that we've been told is a treat or a healthy way. But when you look in the shadows of anything, you can actually see it's not that good, really. But we're just told it is, and then we want to believe it is. So we everything that we're doing to our body is literally being programmed to destroy ourselves.
And I think it's also very superficial in that way. Like you say, just give a tablet, or you look all right. When I was discharged and from the eating disorder service, because I didn't meet the criteria, I wasn't underweight anymore, so I couldn't be anorexic. And I developed binge eating disorder. They actually, I want to say celebrated, they were quite happy with me like that, because it stopped me going back down to being 4 stone. So they were quite happy and would dismiss and not take seriously when I'd say, I'm ill, or I don't feel well because last night I ate 20,000 calories and I ate this and I ate this and I feel like this. It was like, well, it's stopping you losing your weight, so we're all right with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, as long as you look all right and your weight's all right. I went to the doctor's the other day because I had to have a health check for some reason, and it was like, she weighed me, did my BMI, and said, so you eat healthily? So I said, I've got an eating disorder. She went, I know, but your weight's all right, so you eat healthily. And it was like, she couldn't get it. But because you look all right, or a test says you're all right, there's nothing wrong with
Well,
you.
people do that, don't they? When it becomes where we're in a superficial world, and not everybody, but what happens is that somebody says they're ill and we go, "Well, you look okay to me,"
Yeah.
and it's like, but you're not my illness. Do you see what I mean? You're not my feelings. You're not my emotions, and so we often disregard ourselves because we disregard to disregard others. We must have learned that from somewhere. So when I spoke about before about the medical model, it's not about you. It's about dividing you up so business can continue on that wheel of business. You know, if you're in the business of say health, you've got to realize you need sick people.
Yeah.
And if there is nobody sick, you haven't got a business, have you? So we need to make them sick. Then business can continue. So I think quite often the body. I think one of the things now is to say that putting on weight is a medical condition, so we can give you a tablet for that. And it's like, is that actually true? You know, you've got to question these things. Is that actually true? You know, because what you're saying is I can then just go and binge eat as much as I want and eat these things, and I won't put on weight, and because I'll be a healthy weight then, so I might as well weigh rocks, can't I? It doesn't matter what I put in, I can eat anything that I like. And so it's that where we've become too far away from, you know, looking at what nature does, because I guess it's boring now to be looking at those things.
I think you've opened my eyes to looking at those things, which I haven't had before. And when you mentioned there were a brief period where I did look at not just the calories in food, which don't exist, I made up things, and not just the because that's the only thing that's been important to me regarding food
is the calories.
But I started looking at what was in the food and how it was helping my mind and my body.
And so you did.
I went on an autoimmune protocol, which really cut out all processed food. Apart from my Pepsi Max, because I'm addicted to that.
So you can see how the addictions have added into.
I was the impact that it had on me cutting out on those chemicals actually not only helped me physically, I was better mentally. I think I was able to tackle more things in therapy and outside therapy because I was more clear thinking, sort of thing. And the only thing is that I can say it was because the only difference is I wasn't having those chemicals that I was having before.
Then you could see it clearly. Your hair had changed. Your eye colours were amazingly blue.
So everybody said my eyes changed colour and stuff like that, and that happened quite quickly.
It did, and it's like the body was given a break from having to constantly, you know, your body loves you so much, it constantly wants to keep you alive, so it's constantly having to get rid of these toxins that you're putting in, or it's like a mixture of poisons, really, because if you've got this toxin from over here and you eat all these variety of foods, you're looking at all the toxins and you've got a mixture of toxins in a pan that you're literally putting in. So it's like, wow, how amazing is the human body for it to be able to do that.
And it's got to have an impact on it. Like the last binge I had was Friday, and I ate that much bread, butter, a big tub of like those heroes and stuff. All those chemicals, although I felt ill immediately and couldn't sleep and was in pain and all those for days, my body really struggled. I could feel my body struggling to deal with all those things.
You're literally giving yourself gut rot. It's rotting it. It's like, what do you think you do into the inside of your body? Because we can't see it. We just don't. It doesn't matter. If I put that in and it tastes good, then that's all I'm bothered about. And because you get used to these foods as well. So some people as well, you can hear how the brainwashing goes as well, because we're given stuff to eat rather than saying what's in it, where did it come from. It's that, we just constantly trust somebody else already knows, and so we go with that. But because we don't ask these questions, we just we just blindly eat
do we
these
think
things.
These big companies or people who make things, they're not not going to give us something that's not right. That's a chemical. That's harmful.
They're not going to do that to us, are they?
Naively, you know, you think
Yeah.
the Food Federation, they're not going to approve things which you can put, which kill a weed.
Then why are they in the food?
Yeah, and it's like
if you spray these things on an insect, it kills an insect. What really do you think it's going to do to your body?
We naively think that we're different, don't we? Or that people are making decisions for us in the best will in the world. Like
why put it in the food in the first place?
We've seen programs that, like, are saying, oh, they put certain chemicals in crisps because they're addictive, like the Pringles, and well, I don't know whether the Pringles, but stuff like that. We know it, but we're like, oh, but it's all right then.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, it's not.
Well, it's all right because in a homogeneous group, if everybody's doing it, you know, when you're at school, if they jumped off a bridge, would you? Well, yes, you would.
Yeah.
You said, no, I won't. Yes, you. Every time you go to the supermarket, what do you think you're doing? So it's like that. It's like we don't look because we trust that somebody wouldn't do this to us. Then if they wouldn't, and they have our best interests at heart, how come that you know, these things are the biggest killers? Do you see what I mean? You see the three biggest killers, so heart disease, cancer, and prescription drugs, or overprescribing prescription drugs. If you know, if somebody has my best interest at heart, I wouldn't say to them, you know, tell me how many people you kill a year then. And I'm not saying all doctors do that, but if somebody says, oh, these are the if that was written on, you know, you went for a job interview and it's like, okay, tell me about your background and it, you know, what's the chances? These are them. Would you still go along with that? Would you? It's like, you know, every time you eat something, there's a chance you're going to get heart disease or a chance you're going to get cancer. But what we'll just tell you, it's your body that's defective. That's what we'll say. That your body's defective or it's in your genes. And it's like, but how do I know that that's true? Because we'll learn to become willfully blind. We learn to not investigate. We learn to just say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. And it's like, well, go prove it to me that it's a conspiracy theory then.
And I've learned that
when the evidence
food to harm myself, I eat more of it, more of the process, more of the chemicals.
So what overall what you're saying from the beginning is that self-harm is you know, it's kind of a normalized thing that people often do. And so the eating disorder, we think, well, where did yours come from? And it's like, well, where did anyone's come from? Because we've normalized self-harm, and we're eating food that we're eating chemicals that we shouldn't.
And we normalise, like you say, going out and getting drunk or drinking a lot, or we normalise it, and
because everybody does it, so it's okay. Makes you kind of feel good at the time, and then it makes you feel crap. But that's the same hangover you have with food. The food hangover, it impacts your mood. It makes you feel a kind of, you know, it makes you feel a kind of way. So it's that, but we just don't want to know what it's doing to our bodies. It'll cope. It always does. So we ultimately don't really love or care about ourselves.
It's a convenient, a convenient and easy got and easily hidden way of harming yourself as well. Do you know what I mean? It's something.
Well, I guess as well that it can be, you know, sometimes when you go shopping, you can say, how much organic food is in here compared to the other, you know, and why is there more of that, you know, available than or why is it that that choice is minimized as well? If you're saying, you know, you trust these people, then, you know, why are we not given that choice once, you know, more often than the other? As you said, when you went in hospital, it's a health care and we're paying to be cared for. Then why in that care are you being fed this kind of food? If you're saying, well, I've come here to get healthy, and yet, you know, you're feeding me this.
Oh, it wasn't to get healthy.
You're feeding me this food.
It was to put on weight.
But we have to, sorry, darling, we have to end there.
Okay.
Did you get out what you needed to?
Thank you.